I'm just going to do this really quickly. One, is police going to do their job and actually arrest my mother and her sisters for the laws that are broken in the last 9 years? Actually, just do your job and arrest all those people who broke laws into my life in the last 9 years. As for committing fraud, I never committed fraud. Why was I accused of committing fraud? I was mugged and robbed on my way home from work and suffered injuries for it. But as I've explained to people, it's weird because these deadbeats of low-life leftists, scummy trash houso losers of liberal libertarians, socialist, communist, woke, pathetic people, they think that if you commit fraud, you must have had a financial gain. That's not true. So fraud doesn't mean, and this is where my mother and her family or other people or just dumb people, they hear the word fraud and they think, oh, they frauded money. No. Fraud doesn't mean you've made money. You can commit fraud with no benefit and gain at all. It's still fraud. For an example, in the state of New South Wales, if you actually cause somebody else financial damage, which you've done to me for 9 years. So if you cause somebody else financial damage, hardship, loss of savings, assets and belongings, which you have done to me, but loss of income, you've committed fraud. You committed fraud. So in the state of New South Wales, causing somebody else financial damage is fraud. So you didn't benefit from that. The other person didn't benefit from it. You didn't gain anything from it. You didn't financial benefit from it, but you still committed fraud. And I have tried to get people who are so dumb to understand how the law works, including police, that's still fraud. Here's the thing. Giovanni took time off work when I was overseas and turned my apartment into a sex drug pit when I was overseas. And he lied. Okay? He lied, and he did it the wrong way because he lied. I wouldn't have found out about it if he had have not lied to my medical legal team about me. That's how I found out about it. So he did it really wrong because I found out. That's fraud. Did he benefit financially from it? No. There's no benefit financial, but it's still fraud. And here's where I find stupid people, dumb people, just really low socioeconomic idiots. As soon as they hear the word fraud, they instantly think, oh, how much money did they get? You're talking about fraud doesn't mean a money value. People commit fraud and go to jail for committing fraud where there's been no benefit, no gain, and no financial gain at all. It's still fraud. Okay. Going and signing your children's name down under your second husband's name is fraud. Good example of this. Okay, my dad's Mark Fleming. My stepfather's Mark Rackley. My name's Justin Fleming. My twin sister's name's Amanda Fleming. Okay, they're maiden names. If my mother went and put a document into Centrelink or what it was called, like back in those days for Oz Study, and she wrote it down as Justin Amanda Rackley, well, actually, that is a financial gain because it's Oz Study. Okay, but that's still fraud. Okay, no, let me tail it back. Say she went to a school and she wrote down Amanda Lee Rackley instead of Amanda Lee Fleming and Justin Mark Rackley instead of Justin Mark Fleming. That's fraud. Did you gain from it? No. You committed fraud, but you committed fraud. I've always written my name down correctly. Because, for an example, I do have a stage name, an artist name, a design name that I use. That is on my birth certificate. So I am born Justin Mark Fleming. Okay, to the father, my father is Mark Ian Fleming, my mother, Carol Ann Purdy, and my twin sister, Amanda Lee Fleming. However, you're going to see on my birth certificate where there has been a name change, and I've added my confirmation name. I've had a confirmation name and the full name, how my name is spelled in Latin, so which is something I learned as a kid, how it's spelled, in old times, and so forth. Something you learn as a kid when you're studying in Roman Catholic school. And I learned this when I was making my confirmation, even prior to making my confirmation. So, Cesare Stunier and Marcus Philippes or Simon von Fleming. So I do have documents in that name. But I'm legally allowed to hold documents in that name because it's gone through the government departments. That name is through birth, deaths, and marriages, and it's on my legal document or on my birth certificate. And so here's the thing. In 2017 and continue today, people looking at this going thinking, oh, that's fraud, you've got someone else's name. It's like, no, that is my other name. It's on my birth certificate. I'm legally allowed to have that name. My birth name's Justin Mark Fleming. My other name is Cesare Justinian Payne Marcus Philippe Zosine von Fleming. That's there. Okay. The only name that is not legal is Justin Rackley, because there is no Justin Rackley. That is it. So yeah, I was a smart ass when I did it. So I do know the law. So yeah, my mother can't just write down, what's her new boyfriend's last name? She's going to write down our names under that now? So fraud doesn't mean you've gained anything financially from this. You can commit fraud without any financial gain. And as I said, you've committed fraud. A lot of people committed fraud with how you have just caused financial hardship to myself in the last 9 years. If you cause any financial loss and damage to somebody else, that's fraud. You're to be charged for fraud. That's the way the law works.